Good morning, my dear children. I have been sharing my thoughts on various topics of relevance in the past few months, and I am delighted to see the response of my Darshanites when they post their tasks. Well, today, let me begin with a story. Actually, it is a real life incident that happened in Kupwara, Jammu and Kashmir.
High up in the snowy mountains, where few people live because of the harsh climate, the Indian Army braves to withstand the climatic conditions to protect our borders. Once it so happened that a battalion, for the few who are not familiar with the word, let me tell you, a battalion is a group of soldiers along with their major were walking up the Himalayas to relieve another battalion who was on duty at a post in the Himalayas for the past 3 months. This battalion would be deployed just like the others for a period of 3 months too. Imagine walking to reach the post at such a high altitude on a cold winter day with intermittent snowfall. It was so cold that the group were just longing to have a hot cup of tea. Now, at such a high altitude, where can you find a tea shop? As though God heard their prayers, they saw a small building at a distance. Happily, they walked towards it. Finally, when they reached it, they were disappointed to see it locked. The soldiers had an idea. Why not break the lock and see if they can actually get the things to make tea? The major disapproved of the plan. He felt that being disciplined men from the army, it wasn't right to steal things or take others' things without their consent. But he also felt sad that his men were suffering in the cold and were in desperate need of a cup of hot tea. On second thought, he gave permission to break open the lock, and they were amazed to see that this tiny building was actually a small tea shop. It had everything to make a nice cup of tea: milk, tea leaves, sugar, water, utensils, a stove, and also biscuits. The soldiers made themselves tea, actually drank 2 glasses each, ate the biscuits too. They kept repeating how God answered their prayers. Now, before leaving the place, they tidied up the shop, and the major took out a few thousand-rupee notes and kept it under the sugar pot, so that when the owner returns, he wouldn't be sad that all his things were used up and he was left with nothing. The battalion continued their journey upwards to their destination. After 3 months, when another battalion relieved the major and his men from their duty, they started their descent down to the plains. Once again, after walking continuously for over 4 hours, the group once again longed to have a hot cup of tea. They were surprised to have reached the small shop, but this time they could see it was open. Happily, they went inside to meet the owner, who was a very old man. He happily greeted them and made them a nice cup of tea. Out of curiosity, one of the soldiers asked the old man, why did he run a shop so high up in the mountains, where live alone people even God wouldn't visit? At once, the old man replied, who said God wouldn't visit? He further narrated an incident 3 to 4 months ago. He actually felt that God had personally visited this small shop. He continued that at that time his only son was critically injured from a fall and hospitalized. It was at that time he was in desperate need for money to save his only son. He returned from the hospital thinking that he would sell all the things he had in his shop and get the money. But when he reached, he was disappointed to see that the lock of the shop was broken. Imagining the worst that he was robbed, he stepped inside the shop and was surprised to see a lot of money kept under the sugar pot. The old man wiped a tear from his eye and asked if it was not God, who else would know that he needed so much of money to save his son's life. The soldiers all were teary-eyed and noticed the major's eyes moist too. They understood the silent command that the major had given them to not say that they were the people who had broken the lock, drank tea, and also kept the money. The major hugged the old man and said, "Yes, Baba, there is a God who takes care of all our needs and listens to our prayers."
What did you understand from this incident? It is faith or hope that actually guides us through in our different situations. The positivity to look beyond our toughest situations actually helps us to help other people who are also in need, and last but not least, we are all instruments of God. Some may call it compassion or term it as empathy, but these feelings are God created and is used best to help others. Imagine if no one cared about us, how lonely would we feel? If no one understood our needs and our situations, how heartbreaking would it be? Dear children, none of us can survive without another's help or presence. The others may be your parents, siblings, extended family members, friends, teachers, and other significant people who have come into your life. Remember the times when you were an instrument of blessing in another person's life. The task of this week is the primary section should draw and paint a picture to show how you were an instrument of blessing in another person's life. Give a suitable title for it too. The middle school should write a short paragraph narrating an incident of how you were helpful in another person's life. Your paragraph should be limited to 200 words. The high school should pen a little poem or sonnet which comprises of 14 lines only. Remember to write a good title too. The entries should be submitted to your class teacher. All entries would be graded and the best will be posted on the school's official Facebook page. Let me summarize. First, acts of kindness and always noted and remembered. Second, never fail to be kind, compassionate, and helpful to people around you. It's not necessary that you should know them. Third, you are God's chosen instruments. Always pray that you are a useful instrument to bring happiness and comfort others at the time of need. Fourth, when you pray, God answers and He knows the time to answer when it is best suited for you. Fifth, never miss the chance of being helpful, even though it might be insignificant in your sight, but it might be a lifesaver for others. Dear Darsanites, please remember that the world needs kind, compassionate, caring, and helpful individuals. Let's try to be one so that this world becomes a better place for you and me. May God bless us all. Thank you.